The first speaker of today is Cristina. Cristina actually developed her career in Buencafe for the last 25 years. And now she's the General Director of Buencafe. She holds a degree in industrial engineering and also an MBA in sustainability from MIT. And they have a very nice company motto, and let me read this out to you. To live with optimism as a transformative force to create sustainable value in the world of coffee.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cristina Madriñán.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for invite me. I'm Cristina Madriñán, as I already presented. I'm the General Director of Buencafe, freeze-dry coffee facility. And let me start to present what is my company, where I work. Buencafe is operated by Colombian Coffee Growers Federation in Colombia. And Buencafe is one of the largest and more sophisticated freeze-dry coffee facility in the world. It's something important to mention that we produce 24 million cups of coffee, of instant coffee, that are exported to more than 40 countries, reaches to 60 markets. And something that I want to highlight today, because we are talking about sustainability, is that 100% of our profits are transferred to those coffee growers. We are more than 500,000 coffee growers families. Look, it's how we look. We are in Colombia. We are located in the coffee region in the middle of the mountains. But before to start, let me introduce what we believe about sustainability. And with the climate change shows us that something that once we thought was infinite, now is finite, natural resources. And sustainability is an ethical decision, as is an individual and collective commitment, because ethics define our behavior and our decisions to shape the present, considering the future of new generations. And you know, we made more than 30,000 decisions every day as a human beings. And the sustainability should be in all those small decisions. It should be part of our routine. Sustainability is not complex. It's not a complex concept. It's a daily decision. And I would like to complement the sustainability concept because the pandemic, all the changes that we have facing, show us that as a nature, we should work as a nature show you, we should work as a nature ecosystem model. And the ecosystem model is interconnected. It works in collaboration in order to survive. It's the reason why new sustainable initiatives and new projects should be worked as nature ecosystem works. And how it works? Works interconnected, collaborative, resilient, and adaptable. And this new concept is called now regeneration or regenerative economy. And this new concept complements the sustainable concept. And the idea for today is show you how we implement the regeneration concept in the Colombian Coffee Growers Federation and how we implement that concept in Buencafe. And before to start, it's important to know about Colombia. I feel very proud to live in that country because that country is the second country with more biodiversity, is the rainiest country in the world, is the home of 50% of the moorlands in the world, and, of course, in Buencafe, in Colombia, we produce the best coffee in the world. I come from Colombia, then it's important to mention that we think that it's the best coffee. And now, the idea during all my presentation, I already mentioned, that I want to share with you how we add sustainable value from different perspectives. From coffee grower perspective, from consumer perspective, and for planet perspective. And unless I will start to talk about from the coffee grower perspective. And since 95 years ago, coffee growers in Colombia decide to create an organization to represent them nationally and internationally with one objective, to preserve the coffee sector. It means that they collaborate, that they integrate. For what? With one mission, to improve the standard of living of coffee growers, to improve the quality of life. But an important base of the sustainable strategy is the high vocation for service to the coffee growers. And we have in Colombia Coffee Growers Federation, we have a unique model. We are more than 500,000 coffee grower families, and every coffee grower can vote and elect who will represent them. And in every coffee region, we have a group of leaders that made the decisions related with the coffee growing. And after that, they elect one leader in every coffee region. And this leader is part of the board of directors. And the boards of directors made the most important decision for the coffee growers in Colombia. It means that we are democratic. It's a very unique model. And in this slide, I will show you how we implement the regeneration concept. And remember that we talk about 4 concepts of the model: interconnected, collaborative, resilience, and adaptable. The first 2 concepts, interconnected, collaborated, how we implement it. In in Colombian Coffee Growers Federation, we have a wide network of allies that are in charge of the purchase guarantee. The purchase to guarantee, we guarantee the purchase of the green coffee beans. Every day, we have more than 300 coffee purchases distributed in all the region. It means that we are close to the coffee growers to buy the coffee in cash and with a transparent base price. Is what we do to guarantee the procurement process. And the second example on how we implement resilience and an adaptable concept is in Colombia, we have a Natural Coffee Research Center. And in this center, we develop technologies and knowledge for being more productivity, to have more productivity, to be more efficient in the coffee farms. And this knowledge is transferred to the coffee growers to a group of experts. We are more than 1,000 experts that visit every farm and transferred that knowledge to the coffee farmers. It means that we are all the time updating the knowledge, depending on climate change, depending on changes in external or internal conditions, and we change those practices to be more productive every day. I mean, we have to be resilient. It's the reason why we have been in the coffee industry for more than 90 years. We are the second country with more production, and we are we produce more than 13 million coffee bags. And how we add value from sustainable value from the consumer perspective in the Colombian Coffee Growers Federation. And with the pandemic, with all the changes that we have facing, now we have a more conscious consumer. This conscious consumer wants more equitable society, wants to be part of the sustainable initiatives. Is the reason why Colombian coffee is an option for them. And why? Why is an option for them? Because Colombia received the protective geographical indication. What it means? It means that the reputation and the quality of the product is related with the place of origin. And Colombian coffee is unique. It cannot be replicated. And why cannot be replicated? Because Colombian coffee is more than a product. It's a culture behind of the coffee. Let's talk about the origin. In Colombia, we produce Arabica coffee. We produce in mountains with volcanic soils, with tropical weather, and we harvest all year around. And these characteristics allow us to deliver a special cup profile. You had the chance to try Colombian coffee in the bar. I think that you notice the cup profile with mild acidity, with bitter touch, and with chocolate and nuts flavors. And let's talk about the culture. The culture is a combination. In Colombia, the coffee culture is a combination of ancestral culture that passed from generation to generation, combined with environmental care, and with a culture around the families. Let's see the picture that is in the left. We have very nice houses, colors, flowers, corridors, a special dressing, a special food around the coffee culture. And let's talk about how we add value from the planet perspective. And in Colombia, the coffee sector is the biggest reforester group. I mean, we are the biggest reforester in the country. How we got it? How we got that result? Because we have more than 500,000 hectares that now use sustainable seals. They implement sustainable seals that show our commitment with natural forests and biodiversity. And also, we are almost 300,000 of coffee growers that now do tasks of conservation and protection of natural forests. But we are, as a coffee grower, we are doing a big efforts, and we want that effort has been recognized by consumer, by also for legislators. Now, I think you are in the coffee industry, you know that all these regulations have been changing, especially in Europe, related with agrochemicals, related with deforestation. And we are concerned because we feel, maybe we talked yesterday about it, we feel that the responsibility is being left in the hands of the weakest link in the chain, the coffee grower. And this responsibility should be shared with the consumer and with all the coffee sector. And it's important that we educate the consumer and they know that they should pay more for those coffees, so for those products that implement sustainable practices. And I'm almost in the last part of my presentation. And I mentioned that I will talk about how we add value from Colombian Coffee Growers Federation. And freeze-dried coffee is a unit business of Colombian coffee growers. And how we add value in Buencafe. We work in 4 pillars. We work in reuse, in sustainable sales, in technology, and in eco-packaging, and what we do in those. And I will start to mention very important figures about what we do in terms of reuse. 97% of our residues are using in our production process. Is how we reduce the use of natural gas for steam generation in our process. So we have been able to reduce CO2 emissions. And another important figure is that 36% of our energy is renewable. And how we got that result, because we have a long-term strategy. Now we burn our spent grounds. We use for electricity, the electricity comes from hydroelectrics. Remember that I mentioned that Colombia is the rainiest country. Then our energy comes mainly from hydroelectrics. And we have some solar energy in our process. And the last is that we have rainwater. We collect rainwater, is used in our process. Last year, we collect about 18 cubic meters for rainwaters, and these waters were introduced in our industrial services. And now let's talk about sustainable sales. And it's important to mention that in Colombia, 96% of the coffee farm size is less than 5 hectares. It means that we have very small farms. And Buencafe buys more than 500,000 of green coffee bags to those small coffee growers. And in our strategy, in our commercial strategy, we promote those coffee that implement sustainable sales. Our best seller is Rainforest, and our second best seller is Fair Trade. And with those programs, we have been able to overprice, to pay an overprice to the coffee growers. In the last 5 years, we pay more than $18 million to them, to those small coffee growers. And let's talk about technology. And yesterday we have an interesting panel talking about technology. And I felt identified with that panel. Why? Because technology has been a partner for us to reduce CO2 emissions. In our freeze-dried coffee process, we use energy, and we need to be very efficient in our energy system. We use temperatures below 50 Celsius, minus 50 degrees Celsius. We demand energy, and we need to be very efficient. And thanks to the technology, we have been able to design a strategy to reduce our consumption. And also we benchmark the best and the cleanest technology to be implemented in our production process. Of course, Probat is part of our allies to fulfill or to do this kind of activities. And this is the reason why we have been able to reduce our footprint. And the last pillar of our sustainable strategy or environmental sustainable strategy is how to reduce the use of packaging. And in our business, our customers are mainly retailers. And we have been working in three projects. One is how to reduce the quantity of the packing that we use, how to reduce glasses, how to reduce cardboards, and how to reduce plastics. The second pillar, it's how we use more ecological materials. And we have been changing jars for tins, for example, plastic cups for metallic cups, for example, they are more ecological. And the third is through innovation, we have been including more biodegradable materials. For give you an idea, we just launched a lid made with 60% of avocado pit. And we also use paper bags. And maybe you should ask what we can do we should ask ourselves how we can add sustainable value, how we can do it. And maybe what we can start by building a sustainable culture for or with our younger generations. And how? Because a routine creates an habit to make a sustainable lifestyle for or with our younger generation. And the possibility is in our hands to make a change. And we can start by our immediately surrounding, starting with our children, with our employees, and as a consumer. Thank you.